One of the most beloved and well-developed relationships in the DC canon is between Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing, and Wally West, aka The Flash. It almost doesn't matter which universe, Dick and Wally can be found palling around no matter what. They are the ultimate bromance. But lately, and by lately I mean within the last decade or so, there seems to have been a shift. A shift in the direction of maybe something more. And maybe it's time. It might be time for Dick and Wally to finally make it official. Okay, but let's back it up just a little bit. I mean, who are these two titans of the DC universe? And could this ship possibly go mainstream canon? By now, most of you know that Dick Grayson is my absolute favorite character. I mean, Robin, Agent 37, Batman, and Nightwing. I grew up with Dick. He is one of the longest running characters in the DC universe, and recently celebrated 80 years. Dick Grayson was an aerial acrobat with his parents in Haley's Circus. I mean, he was one of the best in the world. At the age of 8, he could land a quadruple flip. There are multiple origin stories with the constant DC reboots, but here's the gist. After watching his parents murder, they literally fell to their death in front of him. Dick Grayson was taken in as Bruce Wayne's ward, and only in recent canon adopted. And then when he discovered Bruce's secret that he was Batman, he became his sidekick, donning his family's colors and taking on the name that his mother used to call him affectionately, Robin. He made his first appearance as the Boy Wonder in Detective Comics number 38, and that was way back in 1940. Like I said, 80 years old. He was created by Bob Kane, Bill Finger, and Jerry Robinson to appeal to young audiences. Kids couldn't be Batman, but they could be his sidekick, they could be Robin, and they could help Batman fight crime. Robin and Dick Grayson became one of the most popular characters. That was until Batman unceremoniously fired him. But then we got to watch the slow transformation of Dick Grayson into the character that we all love, Nightwing. Nightwing was created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez, and he made his first appearance in the 1984 Tales of the Teen Titans. And the rest is history. He gained his own comic, he gained his own villains, his own city, and he finally stepped out of the shadow of his mentor. But what about Wally? Well, he's the nephew of Iris West, Barry Allen's love interest. And Wally grew up in Blue Valley with very emotionally distant parents. His childhood is absolutely heartbreaking, but he eventually came to live with Iris, and he met his hero, the Flash. Honestly, one of my favorite comics ever is told from Iris's point of view, and it's the story of Wally West. If you haven't read it, I highly suggest it. It is absolutely beautiful. But having met the Flash and getting to know Barry Allen, Wally was gifted with the same powers that his hero had. It was pretty much an identical accident that gifted him with the Speed Force. He debuted as Kid Flash in The Flash 110 in 1960. His career wasn't exactly super long. He eventually retired to go to school, but was pulled back out during the Infinite Crisis with the apparent death of his mentor, and was forced to take on the Flash mantle. And for a while, he was the Flash that everyone knew. There's an entire generation that grew up with Wally West as the Flash. And Barry even eventually returned. But during Flashpoint, he was erased from the timeline. And he's only been recently resurrected, pulled out of the Speed Force by Barry Allen. It's here that we really get the best interactions between Nightwing and the Flash. Their friendship has come back full force. And we're all grateful for it, because Dick Grayson and Wally West really are relationship goals. Recent comics give them the history of being best friends from childhood. I mean, two teen heroes. It makes sense, right? But that's not always how it was. In fact, it was mostly circumstance and age that brought them together before. They weren't even particularly close in the old Teen Titans comics. This is partly because Wolfman and Perez didn't really know what to do with Wally. He never fully belonged with the Titans. But both Wally and Dick ended up leaving the Titans at the same time for completely different reasons. And while Robin actually had a continuing story, Kid Flash sort of just faded into the background. That wasn't until he was brought back to replace Barry Allen as the Flash. Really, they don't overlap a lot. They each have their own stories and their own lives. That is until Flash 81, when Starfire and Nightwing make an appearance. And then it really sets them up to be friendly buddies. And it's because of that issue that we get the Flash plus Nightwing #1. It sets up the entire backstory of them being best friends. They're on vacation together, which is an annual tradition. And then, from then on out, no matter the canon, Dick Grayson and Wally West are best friends. I mean, we have proof that they have spent more than one night just lounging around watching TV together. Even after his recent resurrection, their bromance is still very much alive, as seen in this very, very touching reunion. In fact, they're closer than ever. They partner up constantly through the recent run of the Titans, and we're even treated to a long overdue Nightwing and Flash-centric issue. Wally comes to visit Dick in Bloodhaven, and Dick trusts Wally enough to literally throw his life on the line to save Wally, knowing that his friend will pull him out of danger in the nick of time. There are so many moments of genuine love and affection between these two. Wally freaking out, and Dick outwardly professing his love. I mean, Dick dies, and Wally sacrifices himself to bring him back. He knows that what he's about to do is going to kill him with his weakened heart. And he does it anyway. We have the moment that Wally protects Dick when Roy opens fire on him. We can't gloss over the part where Dick buys Wally an entire apartment. Even the other DC media flaunts the Bird Flash love. Young Justice poses them as best friends too, and Dick trusted Wally enough to reveal his identity to him, something that had been forbidden by Batman to do. I mean, if you ever wanted a fuck Batman moment, that's it right there. And then we have the infamous, if you go, I go moment. Let's not forget, in the underwhelming most recent season, Dick has an entire fever dream about Wally. It's too bad we never got to see Nightwing on the Justice League Unlimited show. I mean, can you imagine the chaos of Nightwing and the Flash together? They would have driven Batman even more batty. You have to remember that the original foundation of the Titans was and is friendship. They could trust one another and be vulnerable. Dick and Wally bring out the best in each other. They challenge each other. They trust one another. They know that no matter what, the other one is going to have their back. They can safely place their lives in the other person's hands. But here's the thing with queer characters in DC. Queer characters tend to take a background role, or they're women. Because supposedly the majority of the audience is male, and they want to see that girl-on-girl action. But they're missing the point. It's not about what's hot. It's about the importance of representation. What, gay guys don't like comics? They don't want to see a badass version of themselves kicking butt? We do have Midnighter, but he's not exactly a mainstream hero. I mean, if you can even really consider him a hero. But to be a gay superhero, Midnighter needed to be this super gruff, angry, violent man. He couldn't be the nice guy like Clark Kent or Barry Allen. According to Cullen, he's a very scary Batman. You know, when you have somebody saying that they're a scarier version of Batman, you might have a problem. Don't get me wrong, I actually like Midnighter. He has a very unique and interesting backstory. And he's often seen in comics with Nightwing. I mean, they team up on more than one occasion. We even have this infamous panel. But let's face the facts. Dick Grayson is a flexible guy, and I like to think that that extends to the rest of his personality. DC needs to take a bold step. Both Wally and Dick are at the point of starting over right now, and why can't they do that together? They're already super close, and to be honest, not a lot would actually change. You'd barely even notice. They're already a constant presence in each other's lives, and they're already openly affectionate with each other. The queer community isn't asking for anything huge. We're not asking for anything overtly sexual. We're just asking for presence. So I'm here to say, DC, quit being cowards. Pull the trigger.